So, guys, what's going on? So, here's a story I found interesting. It's a story kind of, where I live in New York City. It's a guy that sent out over 1,000 job applications and didn't hear anything back. So, what he did is he basically got like a sandwich board and he went down to Wall Street and he has like his resume, like his name and his information and a QR code, I guess, where you could take a picture of, that sign and his resume pulls up. But what it's showing is you have people, I think a lot of people, I don't want to say the majority, but about 50% of the people are looking for jobs and they've been looking for months. They can't find any jobs. They're not hearing anything back. You could read about it. I don't care if it's on any social media platform. People are posting about it. There's videos about it. There's not one platform I go to where there are people saying, kids and adults. When I mean kids, I'm talking people that are just out of college in their 20s to adults of people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, so older people that are applying for jobs months on end, and they'll not hear anything back, or they'll do an interview, and then after the interview, they won't hear anything back. There'll be a lot of automatic type responses from like an AI, it seems like, or they'll actually do an interview or some sort of AI questionnaire, people are saying. When you're reading about all of these things and you see that a lot of these companies have job listings, but it doesn't seem like there are any jobs. So either they're just posting listings to make the company look like it's doing something, or they're collecting information from you. Whatever they're doing, it's not looking to hire. They're doing something, they're just not looking to hire. The other thing these companies are doing is they'll put a listing up on like an Indeed or a LinkedIn or whatever. I don't even know if there's any other sites besides ZipRecruiter, right? And the resumes will come in, and then there'll be some sort of AI. I don't know if it's a program or something AI that will go through these resumes and basically like kick 99.9% of them out, because they're looking for something very specific. So whatever the criteria is that is set, I guess, by the company or the HR or the hiring manager, whoever it is, the person that's applying for the job might fit everything that's, for the job, might be totally qualified, but there could be one thing or one period that's not at the end of a sentence, whatever it is, and the AI will just knock it out. So you have people that are qualified for these jobs and could do some of these jobs that are listed, but the AI, it's not a human that's looking at them and, going over them with some sort of common sense. And, this person looks like he would fit and this would be a good fit. It's just an AI. It's very black and white. It's not exact. Boom, knocks the resume out. And the HR will do that. It saves them time. I guess it saves them money. They don't have to kind of interview people and go through the hassle of setting up an interview and talking. But you just have people that are sending out thousands of resumes. This isn't the first article I've read. The only reason why this article popped out to me is, again, because he's on Wall Street and it's New York City and I'm in New York City. I'm in New York, and I know exactly where he is, and he's standing there with a sign. If I didn't know any better, I would think he was like protesting. When you go to New York City, there are people always standing on the street with either a sign or something. There's always something going on. That's the best way to put it. Whether it's down on Wall Street or Midtown, Times Square, Uptown, somebody doing something. But that's why this, caught my eye. And, he got to a point where he's saying, I'm sending my resume out. I don't know if people are looking at, maybe people are looking at it. Who knows what he's applying for, if it fits, if it doesn't fit. He's trying to get in front of somebody's face. He's trying to get that, that CEO or that vice president or that president or whoever it is that's walking on that street going to work that day to look at his resume, because he knows that he's sending his resume through, like I said, an Indeed or LinkedIn or whatever it is, And it's basically going down a black hole. And that's kind of where the job market is, where you don't have a human looking at the resume. Half the jobs that are posted may not even be real. It just may be a company trying to collect data or have some sort of hiring pool in case they need someone. They could be having listings to threaten the other workers, just to say, don't ask for a raise or a bonus. Be happy that you're working because, we're going to hire other people. We're going to hire cheaper people. It could be anything. And that's why a lot of these listings could be. And there are some companies that are legitimately, hiring people. But I think a lot of these companies, a lot of these listings you see, especially like if you go to Indeed or ZipRecruiter, will show you the job. And then when you click apply for the job, it'll show that, this job was listed, 24 hours ago, and there was 1,000 applicants to it. 1,000 people sent their resume to it. So your resume is getting thrown in with the other 1,000 resumes. There's not an HR person that's going to sift through each one. And AI is going through all of it. They're kind of weeding out, the best of the best of the best of the best, or they just, they're kind of taking whatever those 1,000 or 1,000 plus resumes that it's getting, and it's dwindling them down to maybe 10 or 5 or whatever, the criteria may or may not be. They're not going to interview 1,000 people. They're going to probably dwindle it down to 10 or 20 people, or maybe less. Who knows? And that's how that's going. And you're just hearing story after story of people that have master's degrees and all sorts of people that have lots of experience, and they can't get a job. And they've been applying for jobs for months, like almost over a year, close to. There's some people that have been over a year, and then what happens is you just give up, because you get frustrated, and so you'll pull out. And, say, well, I'll try back in the spring, because it'll be a better job market, whatever it is. But, and don't do that. If you're applying for a job, just keep going. Don't stop and give up. It gets frustrating, but I wouldn't stop. But that's what you're getting. And, when you read this, I only took the headline of the article. I read the article. He basically can't find the job. He's getting desperate. He doesn't know what to do. And his name is Sam Rabowitz. He's kind of on his last leg at this point, so he's just, waking up and going right to where he wants to be, which works. It's smart. Why not? He probably has a better chance of being seen by someone doing this than just sending his resume through, like I said, a website, and, with 1,000 other people. Somebody might walk by him. They might like his initiative to do that. I mean, if that was me, and I guess I needed a job, I was on that point, I would be out there. The people that go he's on Wall Street, those people get there, between 6 and 7 in the morning, and they're there to, 6 or 7 at night. And, I guess I would stand there all day. I would stand there, as they're coming into work, and I would stand there again as they're leaving work. And who knows what may happen. Some CEO may walk by and say, this guy's got some ability. He's got he's definitely got consistency. And let me look at his resume. At least scan that board. And who knows what may come from that, And that's kind of what you need. You want a shot. You have to feel like you're getting a shot. So when you're sending the resume out and you're just not hearing anything back, that's when you feel like you're wasting your time. At least I guess if you're doing an interview, at least you interviewed. So you kind of got to that point. And then, whatever happens after that, happens after that. But at this point, you're just sending resumes out like this guy is. They're just sending resumes out into the abyss. And they're feeling like, nothing's happening. Nobody's doing anything. So that is it. Kudos to this gentleman. Why not? I guess, anybody can do this. And he's not the first person who's done creative things like this with resumes. There's all sorts of resumes of people putting resumes in pizzas and people putting resumes in a cupcake box, stuff like that, and mailing them to the HR and all sorts of stuff. So the thing of trying to get in front of a company or in front of a hiring manager or CEO, people have been doing this for a long time. where they find creative ways to try to get in front of someone to give them their resume. So sometimes you have to do that, and he's doing it. But I keep hearing, things are getting better, the economy, there's all sorts of stuff going on, and I hope that this coming year I feel things are getting better, maybe not as fast as people like, but slowly but surely, hopefully we get there. And that is it. Now, if you know anything more about this story, leave a comment below. If you're looking for a job and, you have some sort of story about that, leave a comment below. I love to read your comments. And with that being said, I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's staying safe. God bless you guys, and I will talk to you guys later.